Hey guys, I'm Marcel back with The Pulse. Yesterday was a very interesting day, a very powerful day, quite frankly. I got my eyes tested. Now, the reason I went now for my eye test, and I think people should go once a year, especially if you have issues, right? If you have great eyes and you've always had great eyes, probably no need to go that often, but I'll tell you, it's been 18 months since my last eye exam. And the impetus, the reason, the motivating factor for me going now is I'm going on vacation in a couple weeks to Florida with my family. And it's a big trip for us. And because, we haven't been back to the States with the kids in almost 7 years. So it's a big deal for us personally. Got a lot planned. And it's a lot more sunny, obviously. It's the Sunshine State, right? So I'm coming from Germany, dark, dreary, wintry Germany, and going to Florida. So I don't have any prescription sunglasses. And it was time. I had my prescription renewed after going 8 years, big mistake, but after going 8 years without renewing my eyeglasses, I finally did 18 months ago. There was a slight improvement. I'd been taking at the time NMN for about 3 months. And there was a slight improvement in my eyesight, but that could be attributed to anything. Now, when I talk about improvement in the context of this video, in Germany, I know they talk about 20/20 in the US, and we're going to get to that in a second. But when you talk about eyesight, you talk about 100%. So if I have 80%, if I have an 80 rating in one of my eyes, I'm seeing 100% is average. So I'm seeing 80% of average. In Germany, you need an overall 70 to be able to drive a car. Interesting side note, once you pass that 70 threshold, you never get eye tested again, which is kind of strange because our eyes do decline over time. Now, before I get to my results, I want to talk about everything that they tested because it was quite a thorough examination. Matter of fact, that's why I went back to the same eye clinic because they did such a great job. I'm calling it a clinic because they have technicians and they have all of the equipment that you can imagine, modern equipment to test your eyes. But it's a regular optical store. But the trained technicians are amazing. Of course, it's Germany. The lenses come from Frankfurt, right down the street, the glass. So everything's of very high quality. They tested my eye pressure. And this is interesting because this is in relation to potential glaucoma, forming glaucoma. My eye pressure in both eyes was 15. So if you know anything about that, that might tell you something. If you don't know anything about that, if you have 21 and over, they require or they recommend further testing. If you're 25 or over, your pressure, then you are experiencing glaucoma most likely. So this was great news. Have no danger of glaucoma. Then they tested the lenses over the eyes. And they test the clarity. They look for dark spots on the lens. And my left eye, which is my dominant eye, had, for whatever reason, no dark spots, a couple tiny ones, but you almost couldn't see them. The right eye had a few dark spots, but nothing really bad. Now, what they'll do is they'll monitor that. They'll save those pictures, and they'll monitor that over time, because if it continues to get worse, I could experience cataracts. So we don't want that, right? So then we got to the eye exam, and he started off with these glasses that I think you may have seen on the thumbnail. And these are the corrected glasses, right? So that's what they make that prescription from if you haven't done one of these. And the eye exam started from there. And he had me start reading, and I wasn't very good. I couldn't read very well with my current prescription. That's what I still have here now. And then he started adjusting. Now, my vision prior in my dominant eye, my left eye, was correctable to 125, which is better than average, pretty decent. Averaged out, pretty good. My right eye was 80%, so not great. I always knew my right eye was worse than my left eye. When I didn't wear glasses, which I didn't for years, I was really surviving on that left eye. When I went 10 years ago, I don't remember the exact number, but the situation was even worse with my right eye. And they said they really thought, well, this left eye is doing all the work. And then when I went the second time, again, after about 3 months of NMN, they said, well, you got decent vision in your right eye, but it's correctable to 80%, like we said. But, it's not great. Left eye doing most of the work, but they weren't, it didn't look as bad for whatever reason. And I knew I had less blurriness. Now, I should also point out that in addition to taking NMN, I quit eating sugar. That was because I was getting brain fog. It improved my pre-diabetic conditions. And I also experienced less foggy, sort of a blurry vision, which I was getting from time to time. But that started definitely with NMN. NMN was an instigator, an inspirer for a lot of other things, because then I started, better workouts. My recovery time was better. Muscle activity was better. So my new test, right, once he kept going and kept going and kept going, this is the astonishing part. The left eye is now correctable to 200%. So a difference of 75, okay? That is the smallest print they had, which I was able to read with both the left eye and both eyes. So both eyes worked together. My right eye alone measured 125. So it went up over 50% from 80 to 125. So huge increases in both eyes, culminating in me being able to read with both eyes the smallest print he had. So collectively, essentially a 20/20 vision. I just got my eye exam completed, and I was able to be corrected to the lowest chart. So apparently my eyes are stronger than they were when I was here 18 months ago after NMN for 18 months. Just astounding, which a lot of viewers have been reporting. So I've been kind of looking forward to this appointment to sort of see how things were going. They did eye pressure tests. My eye pressure was excellent, so no danger of glaucoma at all. It was around 15 was the level. You'd have to be, they don't get concerned until you get to a level 21. At least that's the numbers that they use here in Germany. Now, they tested me looking outside too, and I could clearly see better with these than the eyeglasses they gave me a year and a half ago. So definitely more correctable, and it's a very exhaustive eye exam. I mean, they really do things really well at this particular clinic, so I'm just blown away. It's actually not even a clinic, it's an eyeglass store, but they're very professional and they do a great job here. So I'm blown away. My eyes are more correctable, especially my right eye. And again, I guess NMN for the win. Pretty crazy to go from struggling to see. And by the way, I was astonished but not completely surprised, because I don't wear glasses when I run, and I found that I needed them kind of less and less. Like I wasn't missing them as much. So the muscles, what the technician said was the muscles around the eye are making the corrections on the lens, around the lens, I should say, are shaping the lens better. So my muscles in my eyes are more fit. Does that like ring a bell when you start thinking about what I've been describing with my whole body and what many people have been describing? Many people have been commenting that they've been experiencing improved vision. But it's quite another thing to go to the technician and really shock him. And I did start to explain, well, I'm taking NMN and I'm doing all these other wellness activities, and I have this channel. And this guy who spoke really good English, Luke, hi Luke, after the examination, he really wanted to see the channel because he said, Germans are not prone to hyperbole. And he said, this is significant. He was really impressed with my vision improvement. And I walked out kind of like a mix of giddy and confused, almost astonishment, because, it surprised me on the one hand that it was that much of a change. I thought I'd see an increment of like 25. I did expect some difference, but not a dramatic difference. And then I was also surprised at how surprised I was, which got me thinking, from a philosophical sense, learning is one thing, like going through all of this, collecting information, but learning is not necessarily understanding. These moments of realizations, when it hits you, I think are just so important. It's why you have to go through your own trial and error. You have to go through your own experiments. Yes, I think NMN, in that moment, I had a realization that, oh my gosh, not just my body, not just my well-being, my overall health, not just my NAD levels, not just reduction in obvious inflammation, which I've shown in my face, but actually the muscles around the lens are fitter, are stronger. And now I have correctable vision. And by the way, when I looked through those glasses, he had me look outside. It's like a whole new world. The detail, the clarity for the first time in my life, it was almost, okay, I've never been blind, right? But I could imagine that feeling of, oh my gosh, look at the world, like waking up from a blindness. It was astonishing to see. And now I'm so excited. And now I'm walking around with these old glasses again while I wait for the new ones. Now it got very expensive because I've ordered the sunglasses in the new prescription. And when I get back from vacation, I'm going to go ahead and order new lenses. They're not cheap. They're very high quality lenses. It's a high quality shop. I'm not making any advertisements for them, but I'll put the name of the company. It's here in Bodenheim because I really want to thank them for their help. There are other eyeglass places. There are like a dime a dozen. I guess people in Germany have a lot of eye problems, or they're just very passionate about correcting them. I can just tell you that this technician was extremely passionate in helping me. The other realization I had was all of this work. I've mentioned many times here that I continue in part because of the accountability to you. That's why I always laugh when someone says, he doesn't look any better. And other people say, he looks much better. But that keeps me honest, right? I have to stare at you and I have to be accountable to you. It's still a struggle. It's never easy to take these supplements, eat healthy all the time, forego the sugar. Like it just gets, it can be work. It's work. Obviously the workouts, the dedication, the commitment to this does require, sticking with it, right? In that moment, I walked out of that eye clinic saying, it's worth it. Like to me, it's all worth it. Not just because I'm going to come and be accountable to you. Of course, I was already thinking about making this video. So I've taken selfies in the store, but it's so worth it to I see a whole new world. Now I'm going to go to Florida and see a beautiful state, much clearer, much better. And everything keeps getting better. It's this whole process of, I keep feeling better. I keep feeling stronger, almost in 6-month blocks and increments. When I look back and, the first 6 months, because you don't realize that you're getting stronger until you realize it, right? The incremental strength of working out all the time or being healthy all the time, it adds up. It's cumulative. And with the eyesight, it's something that you really have to get tested because you just can't trust your own senses because the changes are so small. They're so gradual. But then when you go in, you either have a major change for the better, worse, or slight change, better, worse, or you're the same, but you won't know because the changes are so gradual. In the beginning, I said, I think my eyesight has improved. And the technician was like, well, that's normal. We see these small changes. It's very normal, up and down. It can change. He did not expect, I can tell you from his reaction, he did not expect such a significant change. Even a significant change, I'm a skeptic. Like people think I'm, all pro supplement, all pro NMN, pro wellness. Well, I walk into these things very, very, very skeptical. I took nothing. I didn't believe in the power of cucumbers and seafood and healthy foods. I really didn't. And now I completely do, and I see that it's worthwhile. One other point I want to make is that these changes that I've been feeling are not linear. In other words, I might get better recovery early on and maybe notice that I have less joint pain 6 months later. That's kind of what I mean by those 6-month increments. You might experience some improvements the first 6 months and then more the next 6 months. So be very careful how much weight you put in to that first 2-3 month period when a lot of people do, 80% of the people do experience benefits during that time. It could take you much longer, and an eyesight is not going to change overnight, not to this extent. So give it time, give yourself a chance. And again, as I said, I think it's very worthwhile. Apparently, now I can't get my new glasses fast enough, but hey, I'll just have to be patient now. I waited this long. Thanks for watching. I've got a cool video coming up soon about a vitamin D study that you're going to want to see. See you guys soon.